comes to language, how does numbers play a role? Yes, the trick is we use language to remember numbers, and we use numbers to remember language.
Okay.
And now, when it comes to mathematics, we use numbers and language to remember mathematics, and we use language and numbers to solve them. So we apply the memory and the logic differently. We take this 3-4 steps beyond just memory. We teach them to shift states of mind, their belief system change, and enter a peak state, which means every time they attempt a particular content or context, they are at their peak state of performance, and they just are able to remember and recall everything that they had learned, even sometimes 5 years back.
So you're linking up your memory skills training into short-term memory as well as long-term memory.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, how are we then different when we offer accelerated learning, which leads to performance in examinations or tests, say from a 40% to 60%, 60% to 80%, 80 to 95%, compared to a typical coaching center, which also promises better scores?
This is the difference between accelerated learning and conventional school teaching methods and coaching institute teaching methods. They all are into serial learning and rote learning, because they follow the system that anything that is repeated 4 to 5 to 6 times goes into deeper and deeper and deeper memory. But today, the volumes are just phenomenal. And it's not possible for all children to be in peak state of concentration all the while. That's where we launched this whole concept of accelerated learning, wherein conventionally using rote learning, a child needs to spend, I wouldn't say an exceptional child, I would say a normal child who normally gets 50, 60, 70% marks, need to spend 7 to 8 hours a day studying. And after doing the accelerated learning program, I have seen the same children performing not more than an hour in a day and are performing 3 times better than they were earlier. That's the uniqueness.
That means they don't have to spend so much of time studying, getting up early in the morning or attending tuition class before school or after school.
Yes. In fact, I tell them all, minimum of 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock is a minimum sleep requirement. At the most, 10 to 5.
So what you're saying is, when a child is appearing, student is appearing for 10th board or 12th board, he doesn't have or she doesn't have to stop playing.
She can go for a movie the earlier day.
Oh, that's interesting. The parents may not be very comfortable with that statement.
Yes, I faced the situation where the parents came complaining that here, tomorrow is the exam and this girl is playing her music. And I said, let her do it, because she is revising everything through the medium of music. And the parents said, but lo and behold, the results came and she performed phenomenally well. The grandparent of this child asked me, I've been teaching this child for the last 8 years and I put in a lot of work. This year, I'm jobless and she's performing better. What is it that you changed? I said, I didn't change anything. This process of learning using the accelerated learning technology method, really specialized and fine-tuned at InnoMinds, did the trick. We used the learning skills of the child. Some children are visual in nature, some are auditory in nature, some are kinesthetic in nature, some are olfactory in nature, and some are gustatory in nature. So there was this one child who, by mistake once, we gave him a chewing gum and we taught him certain things without realizing that something different is going to happen. And a day later, he was not able to remember anything. So one of my colleagues handed him over his chewing gum again. And 100% of what he had learned the earlier day came out. So what is it that happened? There was a gustatory effect. Okay. So every time he chewed a chewing gum, he was able to store information, and every time he chewed the chewing gum again, he was able to recall. But that is not allowed today. In the exam class, you're not allowed to chew a chewing gum and have your exams. So that's where we went in for a belief change system. And we, using NLP, went in for a transformation session with him. And now it was not necessary for the chewing gum.
Okay. I don't know whether you watched the newspaper recently after the budget. The cost of educating a child up to 10th standard works out to be more than 30 to 70 lakhs depending upon which school and where they are going. And for a child to complete engineering, it almost touches 1 crore. Now you are saying your accelerated learning program costs as much as 50,000 rupees for a period of 3 months or 90 days. So are you actually increasing the cost estimates that was published in the newspaper?
No, not at all. Statistical data also shows that over and above education, school fees, the child spends in coaching classes. And I was surprised to note that people are getting their children coached at even 2,000 and 3,000 rupees an hour. And they're spending a phenomenal sum, maybe even 70 to 80,000 rupees in a year on just one subject. As against that, what I claim and what I have proven to myself, and a lot of children whom we worked with, after the accelerated learning program, they don't need to go for a coaching class at all.
That means if all the children go through accelerated learning, you mean to say the cost of education beyond the school fees, particularly when you mentioned about the coaching class, will dramatically come down?
I think it will come down to nil. Because I believe that every child is equal to every other child. There are no slow learners and fast learners and medium learners. This is a myth. All one needs to do is find out the submodality, the modality that each child enjoys and is successful in learning. A second issue. Every time I see a child, this is boring and the parents are pushing the child to study. So the child sits there and studies, but then nothing gets into his head. After the accelerated learning program, there was one of my colleagues spoke to one child and he said, "Now learning is fun. I'm enjoying it. Hey, uncle, can I come back for one more session?" I said, "You don't need it. You know exactly what you're doing." That's the difference. The SALT program, the Student Accelerated Learning Technologies program at InnoMinds, makes learning fun. That's the unique strength of this program. Welcome to the world of Quantum Leap Accelerated Learning Technologies from InnoMinds for students, professionals, individuals, and corporates. For any queries or registration, call 8512-034-034 or email us at info@innomindsacademy.com.